Hello everybody. Today we are talking about the lecture 5 of blood physiology, the second cellular element of blood is white blood cell. Before we talking about this, we must need to know the objective learning about this lecture. So we are discuss and describe the white blood cell. Also, we are study the type and function of white blood cell, and finally, we are study and describe the phagocytosis. What is mean of leukocytes, or also known as white blood cell? White blood cell it is the second cellular element found in the blood. Normal value of white blood cell are similar in male and female. So the average range between 4,000 to 11,000 cell per cubic millimeter. Less than this number of 4,000 means leukopenia, while more than number of 11,000 means leukocytosis. So we have 5 different types of white blood cell that will be found in the blood. We have 3 types of granular cytoplasm, and this is type of white blood cell is neutrophils, xenophiles, and basophiles. These type have a granular cytoplasm and called granulocytes. 4 and 5, lymphocytes and monocytes. This is 2 types are a granular cytoplasm, and this is called a granulocyte cell. This is found in the blood. 5 different types of white blood cell. 3 of it are granular cytoplasm, while 2 of it are a granular cytoplasm. Now, what is mean of megakaryocytes? Megakaryocytes, it is the precursor to the platelet formation in the bone marrow. It is also formed in the bone marrow, and which means a small fragment. This small fragment as a precursor platelet that will be passing into the blood. The polymorphonuclear cell and monocytes are normally found only in the bone marrow. As we know, all the cellular elements that will be present and formed in the red active bone marrow: red blood cell, white blood cell, and the platelet. Lymphocytes and the plasma cell are produced in the various lymphogenous organs, include the lymph glands, spleen, thymus, tonsillus, and various lymphoid rests in the bone marrow gut. Now we are talking about the granular cyte neutrophil. What is mean of neutrophil? What is the function of it? How can we describe the neutrophil cell? It is lobulated nuclei, about 2 to 5 loops. The percent, about 50 to 70% of all the white blood cell count. So it is the major constitute of this type of white blood cell. Lifespan about 4 to 8 hours. The main function is phagocytosis. We must focus about this term, phagocytosis. The main function of neutrophil is the phagocytosis. It will be considered as the first defined line because they are mature cell in the blood. It is considered as the first defined line. The function of it is phagocytosis, and it is considered big cells that will be found in the blood and responsible for the phagocytes, different invading bacteria, virus, any foreign body that will be enter the mechanism defense start by this type of cells. Now, what is mean of neutrophilia? Neutrophilia means an increased number of neutrophils. So we must be distinguished between neutrophilia and neutrophil. Neutrophilia, it is an increase in the number of neutrophils, either pathological or physiological. So pathological neutrophilia include burns, hemorrhage, surgery, trauma, infection, otherwise. While physiological neutrophils or physiological neutrophilia include drugs, epinephrine or norepinephrine, or norepinephrine, or adrenaline or noradrenaline. Also, by the exercise can be increase the neutrophil number. This is physiological condition, and this can be explained as يعني شنو؟ يعني النيتروفيل زيادة بعدد كريات الدم البيضاء أما بشكل فسيولوجي أو بشكل مرضي. الفسيولوجي أما نتيجة لتناول أدوية معينة تزول بزوال المؤثر، أو عن طريق إجراء الإكسرسايز يزيد لنا النيتروفيل، وهسه راح نشرحه شلون. It will can be explained as when blood flow is sluggish through the tissue. Blood flow is sluggish through the tissue. The large number of white blood cells, especially neutrophils, adhere to the wall of the capillaries. So the rapid flow of the blood can mobilize the leukocytes. يعني عندما نسوي الاكسرسايز بالحالة الطبيعية البلد فلو يكون sluggish in the normal cases. When you are going to exercise, the large number of white PC, especially neutrophil, that will be adhered to the walls of the capillaries. So the rapid flow of it can mobilize the leukocytes. عندما نسحب دم ونختبر أو نحسب الوايت بي سي كاونت راح نلقى rise number of neutrophil، وهكذا هذه الارتفاع أو هذا rise number of white blood cell, especially neutrophil, can be explained as physiological condition because you are doing the exercise. The second type of of white blood cell is called Xenophile. So this is type of white blood cell weak phagocytes. We must focus about this term. It has weak phagocytes, different from neutrophil. It is high phagocytes, high power phagocytes. So Xenophile, it has weak phagocytes and then exhibit chemotaxis. They are produced in the large number and present with parasitic infection. They attack to the parasite and release substances that will be kill them like schistosoma. يعني هاي تنشط، هي ضعيفة بالفاغوسايتس ولكن تنشط عند الإصابة بنوع من أنواع الطفيليات الباراسايتس. وبضارب لك مثال عليها اللي هو الشيستوسوما أو ما يعرف بالعربي بالهارزية. Xenophile function. What is the function of a xenophile? A xenophile function include movement to the inflamed area, trapping substances, killing cell, anti-parasitic and bactericidal activity. So participating also and modulating an inflammatory response. But it is not phagocytosis. It is weak in phagocytosis but will be active during parasite infection, by killing cell and bactericidal activity. So it will be participating and modulating inflammatory response. The third type of granular site white blood cell, it is the Visophile. Now, Visophile are a type of white blood cell. They are responsible for inflammatory reaction during immune system. So it will be different when you comparison with the Xenophile. Also, it is the function of it for inflammatory reaction, but during immune response, not during the parasite infection, as well as in the formation of acute or and chronic allergic disease. So it will be activation in allergic disease like asthma, atopic dermatitis, and high fever. It will be rise more than number of it. Normal value about 0.5 to 1%, 1% sorry, in the normal cases found in the blood. They also produce compound. This is, as you see in the picture, this is basophil cells. They also produce compound that coordinate immune response. The function of it's working with the immune system, by coordinate immune response, and includes secrete substances like histamine and serotonin. This substances will be increase the sensitivity of the human body that will be release these substances and causes the يعني راح ترفع لنا الحساسيه مالت الجسم، وبعدين تسبب لنا تنشط في حالات الاصابه بالامراض التحسسيه نتيجه لافرازها الهستامين والسيروتونين، مركبات تطلقها يعني دول الناس اللي عندهم مثل الاصابه بالربو، التحسس القصبي او الربو، ترتفع عندهم هاي الكريات البيضاء نتيجه للاستجابه لهذا النوع من المرض. طبعا احنا تفاصيل الخلايا النيتروفيل، البيزوفيل، ايوزينوفيل، المونوسايت والليمفوسايتس راح ان شاء الله ناخذها بالمختبر، والاشكال راح تبين عندنا بالسلايدات ان شاء الله من ناخذ مختبر وايت بي سي differentiation sorry. A granular site which include monocytes and lymphocytes. So we are talking about the monocyte. What is mean of the monocyte? It is the cell of white blood cell. It is a granular site in cytoplasm and actively phagocytes. So it will be working together with the neutrophil. But this type of cell consider a second defined line because it is immature in the blood. But when it reaches to the tissue after 24 hours, it will be mature and it will be powerful rather than neutrophil and can be engulfed different type of foreign body. Also can be engulfed the dead tissue and also can be engulfed the dead neutrophils. So it is actively phagocytes, contain peroxidase and lysozyme enzyme. They enter the circulation from the bone marrow, but after about 24 hours they will be enter the tissue. So it is the powerful more than neutrophil after 24 hours because it is immature in the blood but will be mature in the tissue and consider the second defined line. When it reach when it is in the blood, they are immature, so it can't perform phagocytosis. But when it reach to the tissue, become large and mature to become tissue macrophage. Now, in the blood, we are called the monocytes, while in the tissue, we are called the macrophage. In the tissue can be perform phagocytosis and stay several months or years. So it is regarded a second defined line. So the monocyte regarded a second defined line, while neutrophil regarded a first defined line. Macrophage in certain tissue can mobile to other tissue, so they called mobile macrophage. This cell can migrate in response to chemotactic stimuli and engulf and kill bacteria by a process generally similar to those occurring in neutrophil. يعني دا يقول لك هنا وظيفة الماكروفيج مشابهة إلى وظيفة النيتروفيل من ناحية الفاغوسايتوسيس، تستجيب لها نتيجة للنشاط أو للتفاعلات أو للمواد اللي تطلقها خلايا الفورين بوديز، تتحفز من خلالها النيتروفيل كخط دفاعي أول فيرست ديفاين لاين، ثم بعد ذلك راح تستجيب الماكروفيج كسكند ديفاين لاين وتقوم بنفس الميكانيكية للفاغوسايتوسيس اللي قامت بها النيتروفيل. So there are different types of tissue macrophage. يعني كل وحدة هنا المكان اللي تتواجد به الماكروفيج تأخذ التسمية للمكان الموجودة به. يعني مثلا in the liver called Kupffer cell, while in the lung called alveolar cell, in the skin called histocytes, while in the brain called microglial cells. What is mean of phagocytosis؟ احنا حكينا قلنا phagocytosis بالنسبة إلى النيتروفيل، بالنسبة إلى الماكروفيج. شنو نقصد بالphagocytosis؟ The phagocytosis must be selective to the material. phagocytosis هي عملية ما يعرف بالالتهام الخلوي، يعني خلايا كريات الدم البيضاء اللي تشتمل على النيتروفيل والماكروفيج تستطيع engulf the foreign bodies as a defense mechanism. But this phagocyte cell must be selective to the material. يعني شلون تستطيع هاي الخلايا أن تميز الأجسام الغريبة الفورين بودي الفيروس البكتيريا حتى ما تقدر تهضم باقي الخلايا السليمة. فإذا تعتمد على فد جوانب. It will be so phagocytosis depended on. What is the phagocytosis dependent? To be recognized the foreign body and virus and other substances different in the body depended on surface of particle is rough. Now, foreign bodies must be rough in surface to recognize by this type of cells. Second, the most natural substances of the body, the most natural substances. احنا مو قلنا الفاغوسايتوسيس النيتروفيل والمونوسايتس يجب أن تمتلك خواص تمنعها من مهاجمة الخلايا السليمة. الخاصية اللي موجودة بالجسم يقول the most natural substances of the body الموجودة طبيعيا بالجسم have a protective protein coat that repel phagocytosis. إلها فت خاصية دفاعية أو وقائية، بروتين وقائي يستطيع أن يرفض repel phagocytosis، يمنع حدوث الفاغوسايتوسيس. Third, the body has a specific mean. The body have a specific means for recognize certain foreign materials. This is the function of the immune system. إذن الجسم له قدرة على أن يميز الأجسام الغريبة بواسطة فعالية بواسطة الأكتيفيتي أو الفانكشن مالت الإميون سيستم. وهذا الإميون سيستم مثل ما نعرف إحنا عادة الفورين بودي نسميه أنتيجين. إذن بما أنه أكو أنتيجين نحتاج إلى شنو؟ أنتي بودي حتى يصير عندي أنتيجين أنتي بودي رياكشن. So the function of the immune system by develop the antibodies against infection agent like bacteria or other foreign body. This antibody اللي حصلناها من الاميون system adhere to the bacteria membrane and make them susceptible for phagocytosis. إذن الاميون system يطور لي نوع من الانتيبوديز يلتصق adhere to the bacteria membrane or to the foreign body membrane ويسويه susceptible for phagocytosis، يهيئه إلى عملية الفاغوسايتوسيس أو ما يعرف بالالتهام الخلوي. Also antibodies molecule binding with the complement. Now what is mean of the complement? Complement, it is additional part of immune system. الانتيبوديز maybe or also binding with the complement. الكومبلمنت هو additional part of the immune system. Some product of the complement that cover the bacteria and make them very susceptible to the phagocytosis بعملية نسميها الأوبسينايزيشن. إذا الأوبسينايزيشن هي عملية تكوين أو عملية تهيئة complement ويا الانتيبودي حتى يكفر to the bacteria ويهيئها لعملية الفاغوسايتوسيس. Although complement can be attached to some bacteria without antibodies and also this process called opsonization. إذا هسه الأوبسينايزيشن صار به تعريفين. التعريف الأول أنه ممكن الكومبلمنت ويا الانتيبوديز يغطون cover the bacteria and make it very susceptible to phagocytosis. وأحيانا هاي العملية نسميها الأوبسينايزيشن، وأحيانا ممكن الكومبلمنت cover the bacteria أو attack to the some bacteria without antibodies، وأيضا هاي العملية نسميها opsonization. Sorry. The neutrophil and macrophage attach to the receptor on the particle. ده يشرح هنا عملية الفاغوسايتوسيس. النيتروفيل ويا الماكروفيج first بالبداية attach to the receptor اللي موجودة على البارتيكل. then said سيدوبوديا راح ترسل أقدام كاذبة in all direction and meet together on opposite side and diffuse. يعني القصد من عندها انه ترسل اقدام كاذبة تحيط بالفورين بودي من جميع الجهات، وبعدين هاي الاقدام راح تتحد مع بعضها حتى تكون لي تشامبر يحتوي على الفاغوسايت فيزيكلز اسميه الفاغوسومز. This create an enclosed chamber contain the particle known as phagocyte vesicles or known as phagosomes. When foreign particles phagocytes قد ما يكون الالتهام الخلوي للفورين body الlysosomes come to contact with the phagocytic vesicles and membrane fuse with the membrane of the vesicle and dumping many digestive enzymes. تبدأ قد ما حاطتها وحولتها إلى phagosome vesicles يبدي عملية الانزيمات الحالة او اللايسوسوم اللي يبدي يحلل المكونات الداخلية عن طريق ارسال الدايجستيف enzymes into the vesicles so it will become digestive vesicles. اصبحت الان حويصلة مهضومة عن طريق اللايسوسوم اللي موجود بداخلها. النيتروفيل كان usually phagocytes about 5 to 20 bacteria, while macrophage more powerful. They will be ability to engulf 100 up to 100 bacteria and also engulf dead bacteria and neutrophil. يعني وظيفة الماكروفيج على الرغم من ان هي immature وتعتبر second defined line ولكن هي more powerful rather than neutrophils and can be engulfed up 100 of the bacteria. Also can be engulfed the dead neutrophil, the dead tissue rather than to the neutrophil اللي تقدر تهضم فقط من 5 إلى 20 بكتيريا على الرغم من هي تعتبر الخط الدفاعي الأول، ولكن كفيرست ديفاين لاين النيتروفيل responsible for phagocytosis first. إلى هنا انتهت المحاضرة مالتنا المتعلقة بالوايت بلد سيل. احنا متعلمين بنهاية كل محاضرة نوجه سؤال as a homework. السؤال مالتنا why neutrophil consider the first defined line while macrophage or monocytes consider the second defined line. As a recap for this lecture, the white blood cell responsible for defense mechanism in the body. The white blood cell have granular cytoplasm include neutrophil, basophil and xenophile, while a granular cytoplasm include monocytes and lymphocytes. Also the phagocytes must be selective to the material, يعني selective إلى الforeign bodies, إلى البكتيريا, virus and other injuries agent. The complement, it is additional part of immune system, so produce a complement that cover the bacteria and make them very susceptible to the phagocytosis. This is a process is called opsonization. هذا فيما يتعلق بالمحاضرة الخاصة بالوايت بلاد سيل. إذا أي طالب أو طالبة عندهم سؤال ممكن أن يسألون في وقت التيتوريال المعلن عنه. شكرا جزيلا.